My name is Lutterman. I'm originally from Medelia, Minnesota. I'm a ceramic sculptor, painter, potter, and drawer. And the name of the show is called Stewardship. It's about giving back to the earth, paying attention to our world around us. It's paying homage to beauty, my aesthetic of beauty. I've always appreciated nature. So it's something that's always on my mind is how, as an artist, can I make this world a better place? And growing up, I always believed that we have to be stewards of the earth. So as a youngster, growing young boy on a farm where we had pet raccoons, fox, ferrets, llamas, emus, parrots, pygmy goats, horses, cats, dogs, you name it. So imagine growing up at that, with that lifestyle where, you get home from school and you do your chores and you go hang out with your raccoon or your fox so that passion has always been in me. And it's something that, as an artist, you either have to make a decision at some point in life where you either have to pay, attention to those passions, or you kind of have to try to find somewhere else in life that you want to go, that you feel that is going to embark on a journey that might take you somewhere beyond. For me, I really had to pay, real close attention to what I did have, and it was really special. Not every child gets to have the opportunity to have all those pets. And I finally decided that that's really what's gratifying, is creating something that allows me to revisit my childhood. It also creates a playfulness. It also makes it fun. And the gratification is not just in creating something that's representational, something that other people can recognize. It's not about necessarily the audience saying, oh my goodness, that's a woodpecker. For me, it's about the hands, the manipulation of the material, the process that, kind of goes through the process of maybe that's how God created life, by manipulating clay. So for me, pottery and throwing comes into play as a sculptor as well. A lot of times the vessel is, it's part of my athletic journey. I was a college basketball player for a year. I walked on a small school in Nebraska. I'm a golfer, avid golfer. But for me, when I first started to throw, it was about the idea of skill, development, the process, the ability to throw large is not the easiest thing in the world to do. It also is playful. But the vessel is also something where I feel it's a great canvas. It's a form and space that allows me to add sculpture to it. It also allows me to create designs and paint. So my painter self comes through, my drawing skills come through. It's also a form and space. So it allows me to have a canvas in a different way, a different form. So with that whole journey being said, growing up I also was a Christian. I tie that Christian belief into my work because I feel like it's also paying homage to God, but also I feel like that's my reason. What's our reason as an artist? We have to think about that as an artist. Why do I use these resources? Why do I create these things? It could be a very selfish thought. I'm gonna just buckle down and I'm going to be an artist. For what reason? Well, I feel like I have a reason and I have to pursue that and justify it as an artist, and that is to give back to the world around me, but also through what I have to say and through my audience and what they view it as. So this is a great opportunity for that when I get to have a show, and I call it Stewardship. I've been wanting to title the show Stewardship for a long time. I've always wanted to have a show called that. Yes, there's a lot of things I would have incorporated, but I haven't created yet. So this will be a repeating theme for me because I feel like it's really at a point in my life where this is the journey that I really want to magnify. This is what I have to say, and this is where my work is going to unfold. So I'm trying to tell a story about me, but also the big picture, the world that we live in. How do we take care of that? By cleaning up the oceans, by walking the roads and cleaning up trash, by recycling and reusing and reducing. As people, it becomes our own personal responsibility to be stewards of the earth. So the piece that really kind of inspired me on this journey from the get-go was the rhino head. It's called Save the Rhinos. I was watching TV or Facebook or something and I saw, the last white rhino was about to perish. But that really kind of hit home. I'm like, that's a beautiful, beautiful species to lose. I mean, they're huge. They're gorgeous in every way. They've got power. There's so much loss when we lose a species. It just drives me crazy. So I decided to sculpt a rhino. It started off as solid mounted clay, and then I hollowed it out, put it back together again. And I think the real kind of thing that really kind of made this piece come to life for me was the glaze in the eyes. I have a certain glaze that I use just for the eyes for any of the figures or the Triceratops or any of the forms that have eyeballs, the gator as well. It's made with Albany, and they no longer manufacture Albany, so it's a really kind of a small commodity of glaze I have, and I save it just for eyes for the most part. So Save the Rhinos is one that I really cherish. So the Triceratops was next, after the rhino piece. That one was really trying to pay homage to the prehistoric, the preservation. I really wanted to pay homage to my children who also love dinosaurs and had toy dinosaurs. And one day I was walking and I was like, oh, that dinosaur is so cool. I just gotta make that. I really wanted to broaden my audience too. So that one was fun and I really enjoyed creating that. So All Eyes on You is a drawing graphite on birch plywood, framed with aged wood that had been sitting in my neighbor's yard for many years that I dried out in my garage for a year, and then I decided to use that and mitered it and turned that into the frame. So I decided to start drawing on it, and once I started drawing on it, I realized what a beautiful surface to draw on. It was actually very addictive. It was a smooth surface. It was something that, it was large. It gave me the ability to create a vision. And then I was like, well, how fun, because now I finally get to use all these images and these references and these different pictures in my head that I've been wanting to portray. And by allowing myself to have a surface that large, it just made my canvas bigger. I love scale. And it took me a really long time, intermittent between life and having children and all of that. So this one was started before my daughter was born and then, finished after she was born. So there was a long break in there, depending on how much time I had. But there was times where I had spurts that I'd put hours and hours in. And it was really an enjoyable process. This is a very inspirational drawing at the time for me because it was really saying a lot about what I wanted to do as an artist and what I was thinking about consciously and subconsciously. As you look at it, I hope you enjoy it, and I'd like for you to look at the eyes as you walk past it slowly and as you come back through. All the eyes are focused on us for a reason because it's our job to take care of nature. The title is Celebration of Life. I started this piece when I lived in Tennessee as a professor where I taught at Lincoln Memorial University. I started with the figure. I really am passionate about the figure and anatomy as well as nature. It all comes together. So I decided that, what's on my mind the most? And it really comes down to nature and preservation and stewardship. So this Celebration of Life piece has got whales on its head, a woodpecker in its ear, a bee in its other ear, and then a trout head coming out of the shoulder. It's really kind of showing, the evolution of life, creation. It's all there, the whole package for me, because it's also about our thought, our cognitive thought, our subconscious thought. So the beehive is on the top of the frontal lobe, the cognitive thought. Einstein said if we lose the bees, we're done. There are pollinators, and it really scared me. It really worries me. As we go through life, there's all these diseases that are affecting the bats, the bees. There's microplastics in the water. That's what's on my mind. And I want to celebrate life. I want people to realize how precious life is. I'd like to thank everybody involved in making this exhibition happen. Stewardship. I really appreciate it during the COVID pandemic era that we were able to put this on, the challenges that brings. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you coming through the exhibition. Please drive slowly, and whenever you see two bodies of water, please pay attention to turtles crossing.